This is my presentation on Langston Hughes by me, Austin Charcoal, and his short story Passing. Just a little background on Langston Hughes. He was born February 1st, 1902, and he died May 22nd, 1967. He was an American poet, social activist, a novelist, playwright, and a columnist from Joplin, Missouri. He was one of the first few people to start the term jazz poetry, and he was the leader of the Harlem Renaissance in New York City. Just to give you a little ancestry and childhood on Langston Hughes. Both of Hughes's parental great-grandmothers were enslaved African Americans. Both of his parental great-grandfathers were white slave owners in Kentucky, which was actually new to me. I didn't know, that he was mixed like that, which is why I can relate to him as well, because I am also mixed. In his 1940 autobiography, The Big C, he wrote, "I was unhappy for a long time and very lonesome living with my grandmother." I'm pretty sure, he struggled being the only child and what he went through, and then him and his father didn't have a great relationship because his father didn't really care for the African American community, which I believe gave Langston some incentive to care more about his community. While in grammar school in Lincoln, Hughes was elected the class poet, and he had something to say about that. He states he was a victim of a stereotype receiving this reward. There were only 2 of us Negro kids in the whole class, and our English teacher was always stressing the importance of rhythm and poetry. Well, everyone knows, except us, that all Negroes have rhythm, so they elected me as class poet. And that's how he was stereotyped. A little bit of his adulthood. Hughes worked at various odd jobs before serving a brief tenure as a crewman aboard the SS Malone in 1923. I believe he was 22 at the time then. During his time in England in the early 1920s, Hughes became part of the black expat community. Around 1926, Hughes enrolled in Lincoln University, a historically black university in Chester County, Pennsylvania. He joined the fraternity Omega Psi Phi. Thurgood Marshall, who later became the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, was a classmate of Hughes during his undergraduate studies, which actually surprised me because everyone knows Thurgood Marshall, and that's just surprising that they actually went to school together. There was also speculations that Langston Hughes was homosexual, which surprised me because I never even heard of any accusations like that. These are some of his notable work. Passing, of course, which is what I'm doing this presentation on. As I Grew Older, published in 1925. Dreams, published in 1932. Theme for English B, published in 1951. Life is Fine, published in 1949. Let America Be America Again, published in 1936. That title actually strikes me a little bit because, our current president, Donald J. Trump, his campaign slogan was "Make America Great Again," which kind of leads me to believe, is there some correlation there as to where he got his slogan? And Mother to Son, published in 1922. These are some notable honors and awards. In 1926, Hughes won the Witter Bynner Undergraduate Poetry Prize. In 1935, Hughes was awarded a Guggenheim Fellowship, which allowed him to travel to Spain and Russia. He did. As I looked more into Langston Hughes, I did find out that he has traveled a lot, and I didn't know he traveled this much. In 1960, the NAACP awarded Hughes the Spaniard Medal for Distinguished Achievement by an African American. In 1963, Howard University awarded Hughes an honorary doctorate. In 1979, Langston Hughes Middle School was created in Reston, Virginia, which is really crazy that you know, several years later after he dies, he still continues to have an impact on, America as a whole. The reason I chose to do passing is because, I heard about, well, I'm pretty sure most people have heard about him, but I've heard about him the most from the list of people that you gave us to read from, the short stories. And to summarize Passing is a short story, by Langston Hughes. And it's a letter written to his mother. And in the letter, it's a man named Jack. And Jack is half white and half black, which I am too, which is why, as I started to read it, I started to relate to it a little bit. But he can pass for a white man because of how light his skin is. Also, why I can relate, because my skin is pretty light, and most of the time people don't even know I'm mixed. But I didn't live in the times that I'm sure Jack was living in, with as much prejudice and things that was going on at that time. In order to live life as a white man, though, Jack had to lose his true identity and take on this new identity as a white man. And under this new identity, Jack gets a girlfriend, and of course she doesn't know that he's black, or mixed rather. And then one day, while Jack is with his girlfriend, they're walking, and they pass his mother, who is black. And then Jack doesn't acknowledge her at all because he wants to keep this persona that he's a white man. And then he then writes this letter to his mother, which gave me some red flags. Like, why should we be labeled as a white man or a black man? Why can't a man just be labeled as a man? Why is there a difference? I know back at this time there was, the times were different, but even today, this is why I chose this short story, because even today, wherever we go, there's always, you have to explain what your race is. If you're applying for jobs, in a police report, whether it be anything, which confuses me, because America should be coming together, especially since we just had the 44th president. He was black, well, mixed actually. I just don't understand why in America we can't come together and be more of a community. And this class, really helped me open my eyes to everything out there that we are actually becoming better, which makes me happy. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do this project.